there is this conditioning that the light is the only good part of us, right? So it's like walk towards the light, and which of course is really good. It's beautiful, right? If you were to see yourself in a mirror, now let's give another example. Like your shadow, right? When the sun is beaming on you, and there's the shadows part, right? Something that perhaps we don't even look at, because it's like, oh, here's the light, and you can look vibrant in the picture or videos, but nobody really looks at the shadow because it's in the back, and it's on the floor, and it's all low, and it doesn't look as pretty as other things, right? So that we have inside. Those parts of us that were deeply hurt, those parts of us that were not paid attention to, the parts that in a sense created so much stagnation in the energy that the energy could not flow as it wants to flow. And so that is the shadow work, when you're looking at your being, things that you did not want to look at, right? So for example, if you deeply hurt a previous partner, right, and you just wanted to forget about it, you're like, yeah, I fucked up, but I just want to put it aside. But when you begin to work on yourself, right, when you begin to look at different parts of you, that is going to come up, because it's an aspect of you that you put on the shadows. You're like, you stay there. I'm kind of cool here. So anything that you have put in the shadows behind you, in a sense, right? Anything that like happened to you or that you did to others, and you're like, I'm just going to put it behind me so I don't see it, and I can just look at this, and they're just literally in my shadow. That is what shadow work is. So the moment that you begin to do shadow work, so you're turning around and you're looking at all of them, literally all of them. And it's not like they will come up at the same time, but little by little they come and they show you something, right? For example, we're saying that about a previous partner, right? So you turn around, you look at your shadows, and then that shadow is like, hey, this is what you did. Can we look at this? Because you got to heal this part. So, and of course, it's going to reveal many feelings in you, right? Because if you hurt a previous partner or family member or best friend, of course you don't feel good about it. So all those feelings have to transform. You have to be the alchemist, right? And transform that energy. And you do that by looking at it. You do that by acknowledging it. You look at it by paying attention to it rather than pushing it back in your shadows again. And then that's what happens, right? So little by little, you open up more space to look at different shadow aspects of you. And sometimes they are just literally just come and they say, hey, I gotta talk to you. Like, pay attention to me. And you're like, okay, let's talk about this. And it's definitely deep work, right? It's definitely deep work, but through them, you get to experience a deeper part of yourself. It's like you're freeing yourself from memories, from energies that were not allowing you to move forward in your life. They just, in a sense, suck the energy into those memories, right? And so that is why we do shadow work, to put the being into balance, to let go of things that no longer serve us, to let go of memories that made us feel very low, not good enough, angry at ourselves or others, in order to be center. And it doesn't mean that it fully gets done. It's just like the deeper you go, like if you're like turning around, right? And so one little shadow comes. So they will continue to get bigger, right? Because imagine like if you had the first memory that you have that made you feel very low, you just like, okay, shadow. And that was when you were 5 years old, right? So you just put it in the back on your shadows. And now you are 45. So that one is really far back and is really big because it's been there in your shadows for so long. And so it'd be wanting at the same time to get your attention and creating more stagnant energy to increase the energy to let you know, I'm ready to speak to you. And you were just like, just keep me in the back. So the more that you continue to do shadow work, you will begin to see first the little shadows, they get bigger, bigger, and so on until you get to like the back, right? So that is what shadow work is and what it does to you. So I hope this helps. But again, the most important thing when you're doing that, again, support system, to be gentle with yourself and to know that you're getting somewhere. You are getting somewhere, even if you feel that you're not, right? So it's not like you just like go forward and then back. Remember, it's just a contraction before the expansion. It happens, contract, expands, and now you're here. It contracts, it expands, so it's not like you go backwards. You're moving forward, and sometimes it doesn't feel like that, but you are. Good.